Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Papa Pacelli. This is my other co-host, the Geezette, Netter of Netters Network. Welcome.
I like that.
I like that.
I do too.
I was watching a movie last night.
What movie?
You might, it was called Star Wars.
I
And
think I've heard of it. Yeah.
it's so weird, man. It's like there's like this little robot, and it's trying to find this space wizard on this desert planet. And there's this farm boy who, he doesn't want to get involved, but then his aunt and uncle get fried to a crisp, and there's this evil dude in like this giant like space skeleton suit. His name is like Darth Vader, and there's like this giant space station that can blow up planets, and you may have heard of it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cheesy. 70 styles stuff.
And apparently, this guy named Greedo shoots at the same time Han does, because we are always watching the special edition. My mom wants to rewatch the Star Wars trilogy, so I grabbed my old crusty DVDs, the one that came with the theatrical editions, but of course they're not anamorphic, so we have to watch the special editions with that wonderful Jabba the Hutt CG.
Do you want me to get a copy of the original theatrical releases?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll
work on that.
It's fine though. We'll just go with the specials. I don't mind the Empire special edition as much. I think that's the one that has the least wrong with it.
Yeah.
But except that you have this whole thing where Darth Vader has to get in the shuttle and leave and then land on the ship. It's like I just assumed he got up there. You didn't have.
Yeah, we didn't actually need to see the damn shuttle.
That's. They're gonna think he teleported like on Star Trek. I have to show something. Welcome, Fluff Chick Productions, also known, I believe, as I don't want to.
Connie Cleary.
Yes.
No. That's we. This is one where we want you guys to subscribe to Connie Cleary because she's a wonderful blue wrench, but she also has Fluff Chick Productions, which she'll be talking about more tonight on reserved seats at midnight Eastern Time on Deleted Scenes channel.
And Netter of Netters Network, welcome.
Thank you.
Connie Cleary, welcome. Okay, Real Wade Nation game clips. My thing vanished. Hold on.
Well, that's okay. Railway Nation Gaming Clip, hi, and then he says he can't stay because he's off to Rumble to do a G.I. Joe show. So
there it is.
G.I. Joe.
Yo, Joe. Go for it, man.
And what is it? Learning is half the battle, or something, or knowledge is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle. I didn't watch G.I. Joe.
Lopia, welcome, my friend. Good to see ya. Long time no see.
My '80s cartoon was Mysterious Cities of Gold, which apparently not many kids watched because it was on Nickelodeon. Not every kid had cable.
Yeah, I think I told you I'd seen it, but I didn't avidly watch it.
It needs to do that for good old days someday, Mysterious Cities of Gold. But
fair enough.
Anyway, well, I will see if anybody else spills in. But if you'd like to bring up the presentation, let's get into this.
You know what? Do you know what I was watching last night and a little bit this morning?
What?
I couldn't even get through. After the third episode, I was like, I'm done. I can't anymore. Electra Woman and Dyna Girl.
It was the hokiest thing
Oh, it was terrible.
ever.
I had forgotten how similar in tone that it was. Actually, that's being too nice. How much it ripped off the Adam West Batman. Even the incidental music sounded like dun 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 dun. And I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Was this like a Sid and Marty Krofft show or something?
It was a Sid and Marty Krofft with what was her name? That blonde. She was a talk show host. Well, I can't remember. Somebody's gonna say it in the chat.
Kelly Ripa?
No, it was way before Kelly Ripa. This was back in the 70s. I don't think Kelly Ripa had been born yet.
And what I think is really funny is, what's her name? Electra Woman. During her secret identity, she has her hair up, but as Electra Woman, her hair is down, and no one tells the difference that it's her. And with the other chick, her hair is down, but when she becomes little girl, she's got pigtails, and
Yeah.
no one recognizes
Yeah.
that it's the same person. It's like
Deirdre Hall played Electra Woman.
I see.
They tried to do a reboot of. Oh yeah, thank you, Big Al. They tried to do a reboot of it in the '90s with Marky Post, which I actually think kind of would have been really.
Alexa,
But
sorry, that's my dinner.
Oh,
but that's anyway. So yeah, it was. Oh, and I see Jonathan Conroy. He says, "Hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show," and then says, "You didn't love that groovy music from Electra Woman and Dinah Girl." Yeah, no, I remembered liking it as a kid. That was one of those things that was probably best saved in my childhood memories. Revisiting it kind of ruined it for me.
was this from the 70s?
Very 70s. It probably predates you, Boomer.
I think people were trying to recapture Adam West Batman. I think that was
Yes.
happening for a while.
Yes,
Yeah, they were
but
trying.
what it was almost a parody of Batman, which in a way was a parody of the comics. So it was like a parody of a parody, and the budget was so hokey. And as I'm watching it, I'm seeing what to a child, and I mean single digits child, would have seen as dramatic and scary and, oh my gosh, Electro Woman and Dinah Girl are going to be pulled apart. But now I see it as an adult and I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. The special effects are horrible. I could do better than that in Nero these days. Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. It's just...
Very interesting.
Anyway, let's get to something that's a little bit more of a happy good old days.
Well,
Maybe not going as far back as Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
I'm going to try to jog your memory on this.
Yeah.
So this was an adventure game. In fact, I should bring up the Wikipedia of this. This is the Adventures of Willie Beamish. As you can see, that's the MS-DOS copy. This also came out on Amiga computers. Did it come out on Mac as well? I don't remember. And it also came out on the Sega CD, if you were one of the rich kids that had one of those. Actually, I wouldn't say rich kids, but it wasn't cheap. But
I was going to say, if it came out on a Mac, there's no way I would know about it, because the only experience I had with Apple-based computers was in school, and in school you were not allowed to play games.
Okay, it was developed by Dynamax and published 1991 by Sierra Online, which is odd, because was Sierra Online in 1991?
Probably, yeah. No, yeah.
Okay, so the Sierra did publish it, though this was a Dynamax production. Okay. Available on Amiga, MS-DOS, Classic Mac OS. Lord knows what that was like, and Sega CD. This is an adventure game, and if you read the title on there, if I can bring that up, if you only knew now if only you knew what you know now when you were 9 or something. That's like the tagline for the game.
Yeah.
This is. I tried this on Xbox recently. Are you sure it's this game? I somehow don't think it's on Xbox. If it is, I need to get it on Xbox. But this is the Adventures of Willie Beamish. This was the idea behind this game, and I remember being in I think it was a Software Etc. or like a Babbage's or someplace like that, and they had this. They were kind of promoting this game, big deal in the background, and the idea I got from this is like a interactive cartoon game, and I'm not going to say it's quite the same as like a Dragon's Lair, but I almost wonder if it was going for the same thing. That's him going for, what is it? Kooky Clowny cereal. Yes. His younger sister wants this. So this is Willie Beamish. He's a 9-year-old kid.
This Krusty the Clown prequel is weird.
And Willie Beamish's goal is to make it to the Nintari Championships in New York City and win. But he needs like $25,000 or some obscene amount of money to get there, and he wants his dad to give him the money. And of course, at the dinner table that evening, his older sister's like, "Oh, you got a promotion, right, Dad? Did you get the promotion?" "Yeah, I want the new car." And the mom's talking about the stuff she wants in their nice suburban home, and then the dad's like, "Yeah, they let me go today."
Oh my
And
gosh.
like they're all starting to freak out and says, "Oh, it's okay, your dad. I'm sure he has a contingency plan." And it's like, it's like you have no sympathy for this guy that lost
Oh
his
my
job. It's
gosh.
just everything. Like they made a point that in this nice suburban house, how they have all this expensive stuff, but it looks kind of like junk anyway. It's like I think it's kind of making
Yeah.
fun of like that late '80s, '90s,
Right.
like consumerism and stuff. It's just this example of what would look like this is Willie's game room. What's up, my people? Welcome, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. We're talking about
Thank
an
you
old
so much,
PC
Nate.
game that you might have heard of back in the day. This is The Adventures of Willie Beamish, and that's Willie's room. And it's be like any adventure game. You can look around, you can grab things. You might need this later, like a slingshot or the game starts out with Willie Beamish. He's in detention, and this is Miss Glass. And I can't do the voice actor justice, but she's like, she's like, Willie Beamish, what did I just say? And he's like, it's the beginning of summer vacation. Your friends are out there having fun, and your report cards are in today's mail. And Willie's panicking because he has to get the report card before his parents see it, because he got a C in music appreciation.
Oh my god. How do you get a C in music?
How do you get a C in music appreciation? I'm kidding. It's like, and if he doesn't get that, Dad will never give him the money to get to the Atari Championships. By the way, do you get that Atari? It's combined Nintendo
Atari.
It's just so, and this is funny. Like one of the other students, like in the class, says, "Miss Glass, may I be excused? I have to be in juvenile court today." He's like, you didn't raise your hand, and you can do other things, like you try to sneak out or find a way. You're like, oh, my stomach hurts. Like you can try and sneak out early. If you sneak out early, you can make it to the mail and keep and not give the report card to your dad, or stuck in a whole hour that your dad will get the report card. And that causes other complications.
We just lost you, Boomer. You kind of your mic is womp 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 womp.
He became its character.
How am I now?
There, you're better now. Sashi says, greetings. I went to all 3 channels to hit like, but Troy's the only one that had an ad first. The reason it has an ad is because once you start receiving AdSense, YouTube takes over and puts ads like crazy. And I'm sorry that is happening to you, but I have no control over it. The best you could, even if I turn off monetization on a stream, you will still get ads. YouTube gets the funds and I don't, and that's what happens. So
yeah, what we have in place are really good ad blockers.
Yeah, I will not be hurt if you use an ad blocker.
I didn't play The Adventures of Willie Beamish, but there was actually a group of 6 kids in my high school who couldn't stop talking about this game. Okay. You can hear me okay now, right?
The $2 super
chat over. Got that, thank you.
Oh, saying, what's up, my people?
Yep. Yeah, you're a little behind me.
Pardon me.
I don't know why that happens with my mic. I think I tap on a button or something by accident. I'm going to have to... I think I need to look into a new headset. But moving on, though, like you could get to the nurse's office. There's the nurse. This is like the Hello Nurse on Animaniacs.
I know, right? Hello, nurse.
Yes.
I want to go to the nurse every day.
And she's like, oh, you either have a contusion or a headache. Or she says something like that. It's like, what's the difference? Oh, about $300. Like, it's just, it's ridiculous, the amount of stuff in this game.
Yeah.
I forget what happens here. I think this is later on in the game. You have a pet frog named Horny, I guess, and Horny Toad, Of course,
yeah. You know what? I am 99% sure that I've played this game. Yeah.
You probably did back.
This is the lunch lady, isn't it?
I think so, and I think she wants to make the legs into frog's legs. There's a villain in this game. She's the CEO of a company named Toot Sweet, which I guess is like Sweet and Low. Which there are other adversaries in this game too. You have to run into though. Like there's a gang that you run into. I forget what they're called. Okay, we are the what? What do they say? The Crepes?
We are the Cripes. We
Cripes instead of
That's
funny. Okay.
Play from our first cigarette to your last dying day.
and
Gee.
they're doing the snapping fingers like West Side Story, like the gangs in West Side Story.
Oh my gosh.
This is so bad. It's just, yeah, and that's okay because you befriend a family of Japanese tourists who turn out to be ninjas and they protect you from the gang.
Ninjas, of course. Of course, it has to be ninjas, right?
Yeah, that's his sister in the bathtub. You can go bug her because here's what happens if your dad gets the report card, he starts yelling at you. See
Just
it,
a
music.
note, he said you can bug her, is what he said. Bug her. 2 words, don't misunderstand. Go on, Boomer.
Okay, yeah, because that could mean other things. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, well, like I don't know if that phrase is still in the vernacular these days. Anyway, but
it's in British. It is absolutely.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, so if the dad gets the report card, he yells at you and he says, and the sister says, it's because he's playing all that Atari all the time. And he says, you know what? That's it, Willie. I'm going to lock it up for the week. And Willie's like, I have to practice because I think you actually do have to practice Atari if you do make it all the way to the game. You get through the championships, but you have to put in the time to practice or you're not going to win the championshps. So you have to figure out a way to get the key from the sister. So here's Willie bothering her in the bathroom. Can I have the key? And she's not happy about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Wade, I see. I see you saying that you sent me a picture. I saw the picture. I believe you, okay? But let's do the show, all right?
I'll look for it later. I am very curious to see if it's on there. Okay, but I was looking on Wikipedia, but
yeah.
Anyway, here we go. We have the these are Willie's friends. I guess that's a potential love interest before they hit puberty. I don't know. And you have
and the frog gets a love interest too, apparently.
Yes, but not only that, but his frog has to go up against.
You want to protect the female frog's legs, right?
Well, funny, but no, the frog has to do. Willie has to win because he's not going to get money from his dad. He has to win the Toot Sweet sponsored frog hopping contest. And unfortunately, there's a frog named Turbo Frog being entered in, and of course, his manager is this German kid, with the later O's and everything.
Yeah.
No, be a Turbo Frog. And then Turbo Frog is speaking with a German accent, and he's like, why are you being this bum to the other frog? And he's like, well, it's gonna take more than big muscles to impress her. And then you hear her thought bomb, and she says, he's so handsome, or something like the German frog. That's Willie's other's friend. This is Willie's friend Perry. Perry is a serious student. Willie is a serious goofball. They make a great team. Yes, so that's the trio there of the Clubhouse Kids. And that's his mom. This is Sheila Beamish. Sheila prides herself on being the perfect wife and mother. She has devoted her life to raising 3 beautiful, intelligent, gifted children. Better make that 2 beautiful, intelligent, gifted children and 1 little stinker. Okay, I guess that's referring to Willie Beamish. All right.
Wow, Mom's kind of a MILF, isn't she?
Kind of. Yeah, she's got it. She has a midriff going because she's wearing one of those '80s T-shirts without the
wow.
That's his younger sister, who's she's reciting the French she's learning in front of him. His mom looks like April O'Neil a bit, and that's his younger sister. And let me show you the older sister. I didn't get a picture of the dad, but he looks sort of like the dad from Dennis the Menace, but with grayish hair instead of whitish hair. But what are you doing? Get out of here. That was when she was in the bathroom. She yells at you. She is I don't want to say she's like an airhead, but she's kind of bad at this. Yeah. She keeps talking about her boyfriend, Cliff, and about how Cliff's dad, he's not even 40 yet, and he's made this big manager. He's like the CEO, and he takes his family to the south of France each summer. And she's saying, Cliff's
wow, I would not want to be Beamish's dad. I mean, my gosh. Yes, they're beating up on him, aren't they?
Yeah, but no, this was before he loses his job, but this was before that. She's and there's a scene where I guess Cliff is giving her a driving lesson, and she's like, okay, you got to let loose on the clutch or something, right? And she's like, what's a clutch? And then you see the car crash into the fence pole.
Oh my God.
And then she tells her mom, and she's like, don't worry. He says we don't have to involve the insurance. Dad just has to pay for the repairs to the car.
Oh my gosh.
And then she says, "Look, you can't date Cliff anymore. You're getting too close. Date other boys." So the next scene you see her, she's with some Billy Idol guy, and she shaved off her hair. And she has like a nose ring, and she has a
Oh
mohawk.
my gosh.
It's, but howdy. But I don't know. This was a lot of fun. But that's us. These are some of the villains. That's Spider. He always threatens you with physical violence if you don't give him something. I think there's a scene later on. It involves flatulence or something. Like he gives Spider a comic book, says, "Go into the stall over there." Spider lights a cigarette. The next thing you see is him getting blasted through the building.
Oh my gosh.
It's just, I don't know. It's funny.
What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to look for some some walkthroughs of this on YouTube.
Yeah, they got walked. I was watching one earlier. Yeah, that's the babysitter who, like, the first thing on Willie's mind is, "Man, she's ugly." And like, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make my special mac and cheese for you," and she's like, "Can't babysitters make anything else?" And he says, "Oh, but mine is special. Look, do you see the?" And then it looks like maggots. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this a Lost Boys reference? And then I think she's a vampire. She turns into a bat and starts attacking them.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It makes no sense. And yeah, that's the ninja family fighting the gang there. But I don't know. This was a lot of fun back in the day, and I recommend you pick it up. That's kind of the and that's basically it. It has that very, you know what it is. I want to say it's like,
is he way in the foreground, or did he become a giant?
No, he's like riding his skateboard in front of everybody. That's all. It's like the camera.
Okay, because it looks like he just suddenly grew large and he's falling over on his house.
No. And like, you see the house in the background, like you can see a little Willie Beamish walking into it. That's like when you saw the sister crash car, and
oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, because they always use the same static background and then show you some little action segment or something.
I don't know. It's an adventure game. If you played Sierra adventure games, you know what to expect from this. And it was a lot of fun, and I miss it. I did have it on the what do you call it? The Sega CD. My brother had it on the Sega CD, so I play it there. But it would crash too much on the Sega CD. I think this game was too much for the Sega CD. But
like I said, I must have played this, but it must have been a friend of mine who had it.
Yeah,
I would have remembered it and played it more if I was the one that owned it.
Yeah. And I assume he gets the Nintari Championships at the end. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
But
if you make all the right choices, you probably have to like.
I think they're bad endings too.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are endings where Spider beats you up. There are other endings where you might end up dead.
Now I kind of want to see. I want to kind of see some of those bad endings. Are there bad endings like, Dad doesn't get another job, so you all end up out on the street or something like that?
Well, Dad accepts a job offer during the game, but he's being set up as a patsy for Toot Sweet, and apparently there's a plumber strike going on. They're getting tired of all the disrespect they're getting. So what if our butts, you can see the cracks of our butts when we're helping you? They're tired of the respect, and like the plumbers union is now like, they're gonna like go on strike.
Wow.
And apparently this is tied to the Toot Sweet Corporation, and I don't know. I miss old PC games like this.
I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. All right, that's it. So that brings us to the modern day. Yay. What are we starting with tonight?
I'd rather stay in the old days, but we can't do that, so let's move on.
I mean, I don't know. Am I being negative? What's our first
story? I don't
story?
know. I feel like so many of too many of our streams and whatnot are negative. I am trying to lighten things up as much as I can.
Ubisoft makes unpopular changes to the EULA. Ubisoft has made official changes to its end-user license agreement, which adds concerning requirements for license holders. This news comes amid a slew of controversies for the publisher, including the conviction of 3 former executives who worked for the company. That's pretty bad, actually. Wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Okay. That said, this alteration seems more focused on changing the way that Ubisoft's customers interact with its library of games. While fans are excited about the potential future Ubisoft remakes like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Why does Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag need to be remade? It's already a HD next-gen game.
Yeah.
But okay, what do I know? Okay, this latest change to the publisher's EULA could impact all future titles planned for release. Given that this new agreement includes additional requirements for license holders, it's fair to say that this is a stricter document than previous examples from Ubisoft. This is not only coincides with a period of which many gamers are thinking twice about physical ownership, but also the growing popularity of Stop Killing Games movement. We'll get on that in a little bit too.
Yes.
The major consumer movement. Okay, hold on. The latest EULA released by Ubisoft apparently requires users to destroy or delete all copies of a game once it is taken offline. In point of 8 of the agreement, the terms for termination of the EULA stipulate that the user must immediately uninstall the product or destroy all copies of the product in the user's possession. While it isn't explained exactly how such a legal document could be enforced, it's worth noting that it would be difficult for any company to ensure that a physical copy of a video game had been destroyed.
I think it takes ridiculous balls to even suggest such a thing.
Okay.
Screw you. I am not going to destroy something I purchased because of your agreement.
Well,
I don't agree to that.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to inform on you to Ubisoft. They'll reward me, and I think maybe the Pinkertons are going to show up at your house.
Yeah,
and they'll just
probably
take your computer and fling it across the wall. What is going on here? If this is a game you paid for, you own it. You can't ask them to destroy your own physical copy of the game.
Yep.
And I don't know what this is referring to. Is this like an online thing? Okay, this new requirement seems almost pernicious in nature, especially
since it absolutely is.
It was Ubisoft who listed the classic title The Crew that inspired the Stop Killing Games movement. The new EULA also states that Ubisoft or the licensor of the product can terminate the agreement at any time for any reason. While it's unlikely this language is so open to interpretation that Ubisoft could legally argue it as the right to release a new game and immediately delist it moments later, revoking access to all users. Whether or not this decision from Ubisoft is pushback against the Stop Killing Games movement, it might be. It seems likely that the petition and its related effects have ruffled a few feathers. I did a double take on this. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's say I have a game, maybe a game that has a single player mode and an online mode. Right. And what are they afraid? You're going to take the online mode and go to it on a different server once they stop using the online mode, and then they're not making
because I do think that there's a lot of these types of games where after they are no longer being supported, people are creating their own.
All these video game companies are destroying their own business. Between stuff like this and the Wolf games, video games are likely killing themselves. I mean, it's not good. Oh, and we got an F Ubisoft up there. Okay.
Well, it's true, yeah.
I didn't forget you.
I would say F all of these game companies. They all suck equally, and none of them feel good.
Welcome, Marc Malnekoff. I don't forget you, Adrian. We're leaving a like. Hopla. Okay. Actually, I like Night Dive Studios. I haven't heard anything bad about Night Dive Studios. Granted, Atari has now acquired them, so we'll see. But they're the ones that remake a lot of those old games, like that Doom I got you. Right. So, but moving on to more bad news this week. At least, I don't know. I feel like the press is running interference for this game. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Is missing 80% of the original soundtrack. In what will be
I haven't even read this article, and I think I know why.
What?
I haven't even read the article yet, and I think I know why. Okay.
And what will be some disappointing news for the link was the link busted? I had to do a Google search on that, but anyway, if you look, I think it's in my notes though. But anyway, let me just read the article. It's from the same site. In what will be disappointing news for old school skateboarding game fans, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is missing 80% of the soundtrack from the original games back in 2001 and 2002. Gosh, the mention of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater takes me back to the days when X Games were something us high schoolers used to love to watch. We were way too cool for the Olympics. It made us want to put outside and put our mountain bikes with multiple gears and buy branded BMXs with those things that would allow us to grind rails and whatnot. Does anyone else remember Dave Mira BMX and Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX? I do, but I'm the only one. Okay, no, well, I can tell you the late and early 2000s were a time of extreme sports. X Games made stars, and the best of the best got their own licensed video games. He was never a big Tony Hawk fan. He recalls watching him attempt over 900. Okay, let me go back to where it says. There are stories about people just playing the demo for the first Tony Hawk game over and over again, but one thing that made those games special was the licensed soundtrack. Hence why this story has been interesting. Extreme sports games were all the rage in the late 90s and early 2000s, but aside from the games themselves, the real appeal of them was the soundtrack. Was really cool in the day when licensed music at games was a new thing, to be playing along and hearing real music from actual bands, curated usually by the star of the show. So it's a bit interesting then that it turns out Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 contains less than 20% of the original game's tracks. This was called out by fans back in March as Activision was releasing titles of songs to be featured in the game, which resulted in a somewhat explanation by the man himself. Coming to Instagram, Tony Hawk claimed that he personally decided to introduce a new mix of new and classic tracks for Pro Skater 3 and 4, stating that he hoped for players would enjoy discovering new music as with the original games. It was my choice to pick some different songs by the artists featured in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 original soundtrack, he wrote. I'm hoping that discovery is half the fun and the big reason that these soundtracks resonate in the first place. So listen and enjoy the ride. More to come, both old and new. In fairness to Tony Hawk, musical tastes change with age. I wonder whether he heard the tracks from the original 3 and 4 games a few too many times, or whether they just decided that they liked other songs better. Maybe the licensing ran out, I don't know, but either way, I think it's a bit unfortunate to re-release games where the original soundtrack was such a big part of the experience for nostalgia.
Yeah, that's what my assumption was, that it's probably related to rights, and they don't want to have to pay for things again. And in a way, you cheap out like that, and you're going to annoy people. If you are going to, how did the article say it? If you're going to recreate a game, re-release a game where the soundtrack was such a big part of it, and you're not willing to spend the money on the soundtrack, then just don't friggin' bother.
That's my that's my opinion on this as well. And I wanted to bring up a point that Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster, there were a couple tracks they couldn't get, but they did their best to get as many of the original tracks as they could, and I think more like 90% in that game that they were able to get back. And the songs they couldn't get, they tried replacing them with like songs or songs like a similar vein, so at least
that makes sense. And that I can respect. And see, you can't blame PlayStation then. They did everything they could. You look at the music company and you go, you're the dicks,
Well, you know who the problem is, though? This is Activision. And Activision, of course, they own Blizzard. They are now owned by Microsoft. And I don't know why a company as big as Activision, and especially now that they're owned by Microsoft or Xbox, a company as big as them, can't pay for the money to get this music.
They can. They're just being cheap.
And apparently, some of these groups were said we were never even contacted. And
right.
I also don't understand that if this is all about introducing new players and having them discover new music, then just make a new Tony Hawk game.
Right.
And you can have your new soundtrack in the new Tony Hawk game. You don't have to do a remaster. But if you're going to do a remaster of 3 and 4, we're not getting, what was it, AC/DC's Dirty Deeds in the soundtrack, even though it was the title track for Tony Hawk 4. Dirty Deeds done dirt cheap. You've heard that song, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I think this is a catastrophe. And they also took out the career mode in 4, which I was willing to overlook. But when I found out about the soundtrack, I'm done. I'm not getting this game. This is $50, and it doesn't come with the. I give them points for not charging like $70 or $80, like some companies might do. But at the same time, they're not giving me the soundtrack, and they gave the soundtrack with the last game, where they did their best to include as much of the original soundtrack as possible. The same had to go for this game. So I feel there are too many compromises with it, so I'm not going to bother. Agreed. But feeling a little under the weather. Oh my goodness! Well, I hope you're feeling better.
Okay, yeah, well, welcome though. Glad you're here. Stick with as long as you can. You could always catch us on the rewatch if you have to go have a lie down.
All right. So here we go. Moving on to. Yes, thank you. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but it does tie to fluctuation prices. I just had the beginning part of this. Trump sets 25% tariffs on Japan and South Korea and new import taxes on 12 other nations.
Yeah, now
Washington.
just to front load this, we're not getting into some kind of political news thing here, but this has a direct bearing on the game industry, so that's why we want to, kind of give you the background on this.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read the beginning part of the article. President Donald Trump on Monday set a 25% tax on goods imported from Japan and South Korea, as well as new tariff rates on a dozen other nations that would go into effect on August 1st. Trump provided notice by posting letters on Truth Social that were addressed to the leaders of the various countries. The letters warned them to not retaliate by increasing their own import taxes, or else Trump administration further increased tariffs. If for any reason you decide to raise your tariffs, then whatever the number you choose will be raised by will be added onto the 25% that we charge, Trump wrote in letters to Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba and South Korean President Lee Jae-myung. The letters were not the final word from Trump on tariffs so much as another episode in the global economic drama that he has placed himself at the center. This is, of course, okay. His moves have raised fears that economic growth would slow to a trickle, if not make the U.S. and other nations more vulnerable to recession. But Trump is confident the tariffs are necessary to bring back domestic manufacturing and fund the tax cuts he signed into law last Friday. He mixed this sense of aggression with the willingness to still negotiate, signaling the likelihood that the drama and uncertainty would continue, and that a few things are ever final with Trump. It's all done. Trump told reporters, "I told them we'll make some deals, but for the most part, we're going to send the letter." So this is still potentially not going to be this.
Right.
This
But
is
let's get into the next one, which is, I think it was a video that people can go check out. I've got all the
posting, yeah.
attributions down below, so you can check those out. But yeah, this was First Nation on X, or no, I'm sorry, Pirate Nation on X says Trump set 25% tariffs on Japanese imports to U.S. effective August 1st. Nintendo games imported from Japan will cost 25% more if tariffs persist.
So then their $80
like
mark.
Understanding the market the way it is, that I could totally see these companies doing that.
Then I could see the $80 Mario Kart would then go up to $100. The first $100 game. But
when you guys are already, not you guys here in the chat, but I mean, the fans of these games are already stupid enough to pay that much and stand in lines and say, "Plug it into my vein."
Well, we'll see, though. I've heard a lot of people are now returning the Switch 2s. I've heard that going around. We'll see.
I sure hope so.
We'll see. I do know, though, that there are all these industry insiders. They really want Grand Theft Auto 6 to be the first $100 game. They're wanting it. Now, I, as a customer, do not want that, because it sets a precedent for other games to be $100. And what's going to happen is people are going to buy fewer games. Right. That's just how it is. And does that lead into our next article? No. This is the Stop Killing Games initiative.
Yeah.
So, Culture Casino was talking about this last week. I figured we should bring it up, but apparently the AAA publishers have gotten angry about this movement. So, in case you missed out on the fun, Ross Scott's Stop Killing Games petition finally passed 1 million signatures last week, and as regular gamers and video preservationists popped champagne and continued adding signature, over 1.2 million at the time of the writing, to account for fake entries and those from non-European Union residents. An organization called Video Games Europe issued a statement disapproving of the initiative. In its write-up, Video Games Europe opposed the movement by arguing that keeping video games players have purchase accessible at all times would curtail developer choice by making these video games prohibitively expensive to create. I'm assuming they're talking about online multiplayer type games, like live service games like Fortnite or World of Warcraft, I'm assuming.
Yeah, presumably, yeah.
Okay. The organization claimed that private servers are not always a viable alternative for players, as the protections we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable, further noting that many games are designed specifically to be online only from the get-go. of Game Studios, Video Games Europe stated that whenever a game is delisted, developers and publishers or players are given fair notice of the upcoming changes, describing this decision to discontinue online services as multifaceted.
Oh, I'm so glad they give me a warning that the thing that I paid for is no longer going to be available, and I'm going to be left with an empty bag. That really does soften the blow.
Okay, and one never taken lightly, and because of this, Video Games Europe believe companies must retain the option to discontinue online experiences when they are no longer commercially viable. Additionally, the organization issued a 5-page document reaffirming its previous arguments, with paragraphs upon paragraphs of corporate lingo and attempts to argue that allowing players to run non-commercially viable games on private servers is somehow bad for the players themselves. You can check out, because I guess the players basically saying is, look, if you don't want to keep these things afloat because of expenses, that's fine, but can we
and the fact that there are people that want to keep running them with whatever lack of safeguards you think there are tells me they absolutely friggin' are still viable.
It was interesting. I remember hearing a while back that when the PlayStation 2 kind of stopped being, the PlayStation 2 servers went down because PlayStation 2 games could be played online, that actually private servers picked up the slack and gamers could still play PlayStation 2 games online on private servers. I think I'd read that somewhere. So
yeah.
And obviously these weren't things as complex as, like, you know, a lot of these multiplayer RPG type games, but it was interesting. It was quickly discovered that Video Games Europe is not part of the European Union's government, nor is it an organization with any direct say over whether proposals outlined stop killing become law.
That's funny.
So no one knows what Video Games Europe is, and it's okay. Instead, Video Games Europe is a lobbying group representing the interests of big league AAA publishers, with members including Activision Blizzard, Bandai Namco, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Microsoft, Nintendo, Ubisoft, and around a dozen others, as well as.
So, in other words, it's a game company shill site or shill group. Yeah.
Well, they're representing the interests of the game makers.
Which I could care less about.
So, if anything, this statement shows that even with more than 1.2 million signatures already collected, and the rest of July still had industry top dogs won't back down without a fight. So, if you're from the EU and support stopping game studios from delisting products that paid for on a whim, you can add your signatures by clicking this link. Okay. So there you go. So you can do that. I wasn't going to buy it at $80. Sure as hell not going to buy it at 25% more.
Right?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I like to buy those retro cartridges from Evercade, and I know that they increase their prices. I think they increase them like $5 due to tariff deals, but I'll pay that money because I still think they're a good deal.
Look, I don't think anyone is opposed to reasonable, justifiable price increase. If materials are getting more expensive and, shipping and stuff, like, okay, fine, we understand. Little increases to maintain your profit margin. But this has gone way beyond that. This has become, you are freaking gouging people to pay for something that they don't need to survive. And there are people in survival mode these days. Just saying.
Speaking of kids, people in survival mode, video game spending by young Americans are dropping sharply, reports suggest. The average weekly spending by 18 to 24-year-old Americans on video games has dropped sharply year over year, according to data provided by Circana in a new report. As shared by the Wall Street Journal, spending on video games has dipped by close to 25% for this age bracket. For other age groups, the percentage drop is much smaller, representing the pressures young people in the U.S. are facing on their personal expenditure. More generally, spending on online and brick-and-mortar stores by this age group 13% year on year between the months of January and April 2025, according to Circana. Other age group spending is still rising, although that is apparently slowed. The report suggests that numerous factors are behind the pressure on spending here in America, as the challenges of the job market, student loan payments, and credit card debt. Spending is falling modestly among this age bracket rather than growing, as it historically does, according to Bank of America. What's notable, though, is that Circana's data, which is based on 4 weeks ending April 2025, gaming spending is dropped faster than other areas for this 18 to 24 age group and trending down faster than technology in general. This data emerges amid a time of rising hardware and software costs in the video game sector. Xbox recently increased the price of consoles across its line. For example, with the upcoming game set to cost $80, The Outer Worlds 2 will be $80 first. Oh man, Nintendo 2 price its Switch 2 launch title. Mario Kart will $80. The next major title for its new platform, Donkey Kong Bonanza, will cost $70. So, are there any Gen Z in the audience listening tonight? Do you guys have no money? Is that what's going on here?
I mean,
crickets. Okay.
I'm sure it's true for Gen Z, and it's this is one of those things, as wildfires hit the West, women and minorities hit the hardest. It's like, oh come on, same thing here. As the economy is doing bad, Gen Z is hit really hard. Well, everybody's hit hard. Okay, this isn't just Gen Z.
I think the reason they bring up Gen Z is because the younger generation would typically be the generation that would be buying this stuff. I mean,
True. Yeah.
I like the video games, but I'm under no illusion that Nintendo is thinking that I'm their main I'm their main audience at this point. They're probably thinking it's the 20-somethings or the teenagers, and a lot of the companies probably feel the same way. But of course, maybe they don't feel that way, which is why they're just raising the prices. They figure guys like me are going to spend the money, and that the young kids can't afford the stuff anyway. I don't know what I don't get it. Because the games cost too much, and the majority of them are woke pieces of crap. I reiterate, they're killing themselves. Well,
and all of these elements, as we look at more and more of these articles, you start to get a bigger and bigger picture. They all relate to each other and they overlap. If you are dealing with game companies that are increasingly hostile to your sensibilities and, changing terms of services to make it like, yeah, we may take away that game that you paid $100 for tomorrow. So, it's a risk that you're taking. Well, screw it. I'm going to gamble my $100 that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't get it though. I mean, you have to understand that I grew up in the early aughts, and in the early aughts they had greatest hits titles. So like when a game became a million seller, it would go down to $20. Actually, in PlayStation's defense, I think Sony still does that with some of their greatest hits titles later in the generation. They will reduce the price on them. So, but Nintendo got rid of that during the Wii, kind of in the Wii era. I think they finally relented toward the end and made a line called Nintendo Selects, but they were of the opinion, though, why are we reducing the prices of a game over time? But now, I mean, if it's going to be, here's how I buy my games when I got the Switch. I would usually wait for Black Friday sales. It's usually a game that would typically cost $59.99, even if it was a Nintendo first party game like the new Zelda or like a new Mario. It would go down to usually around $40, depending on the year, depending on how old it was. Right. Now, they really were sticklers about not putting their games on sale, but they usually around the holidays they would at least dip the price a little bit. And of course, other companies would reduce their prices too. But I don't know. I think the consoles are too expensive. Game controllers have become more expensive. They might actually be more expensive to produce. I don't know, than the old controllers at all. But I remember, I think you're looking at least $60 a controller on Xbox and PlayStation. And I think Nintendo's worse. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Moving on to... I keep using the same image. Switch 2 users, be careful buying used Switch 1 games. Now, it's funny. I typically don't buy used games unless there's a better way for me to get a game, just because I never know if someone's going to dip the cartridge or the disc in maple syrup. But but I have bought used games over the years, and I even have bought a used Switch 1 game, and that was the Collection of Mana. And now I'm terrified if I were to get a Nintendo Switch 2 and insert a Collection of Mana into that, well, I might get into some trouble.
Right.
A Nintendo Switch 2 user reportedly got his brand new console banned by Nintendo after buying a used Switch 1 games. Keep in mind that this is the prior Nintendo system. This is the last gen system. That's the one I have,
Right.
not their new system. So this is a game for the old system, which I guess also works on the new system. So he patched them on his console. According to Reddit user Demanthe, they purchased 4 used titles off the Facebook Marketplace, inserted them into the Switch 2, and had them all updated. When they turned on their handhelds the following day, they received the message saying they were restricted from Nintendo's online services and that they couldn't even download games they had already bought. Fortunately for Demanthe, Nintendo had a quick resolution for them. Once they discovered the issue, they went to the Nintendo support website and were immediately able to talk to a human being. It was there the company confirmed that their console was indeed banned because of the use of pirated games. Nevertheless, they were able to prove their innocence by pulling up the Facebook Marketplace listing for their games and sending photos of their purchased cartridges. According to the Redditor, the process was painless and fast, and it was so much easier than getting support from Microsoft or Sony. So complimenting Nintendo on this, but by showing these things, you can prove to Nintendo that you purchased the games in good faith and that you were duped. Other users warned, though, that this isn't always a guaranteed resolution. Nintendo is known for being protective of its intellectual property and delivers harsh penalties for anyone caught violating it. So here's what I think happened. I think someone copied these games onto the MiG Switch. They made a pirated version. And as we've said in prior weeks, I don't have an issue people doing this for personal use, even if Nintendo does, because you own the games. But then I think after they put them on this MiG Switch cart, they then sell them on Facebook Marketplace. The trouble is, though, when this other user put the MiG Switch cart into their Switch, Nintendo was notified, and of course they got banned. But then the actual games they copied must have had a signature, so that the person that went out and bought the original versions of those games ended up banning their system, even though they had nothing to do with the piracy.
That's and this is where it comes down to. Basically, you got to prove your innocence, which is absolute bullcrap. Kind of reminds me of a certain streaming service that people have copyright problems with, where you have to prove your innocence constantly. And I'm getting sick and damn tired of it.
How I don't know how Nintendo figured all this out. It's like they can track an individual game somebody else owned.
No. You think about what you just said. How could they track an individual game? That means they're tracking individual games, Boomer.
Well,
they have electronic way. This is the control they are building into their digital network, so they can follow this stuff. They are monitoring everything you do.
It's like that song, every step you take, I'll be watching you.
Yes.
That's what this just reminded me of.
Yes, that's exactly right. And this is what they want. You will own nothing, and you will have no say in the matter.
Like, I think
this is what they're doing.
I think if you buy a disc for the Xbox or the PlayStation, they can't track it like this. Is there something in the Switch cards that allow them to track? But this is old hardware. So this is why it's really throwing me for a loop. They must have a way of tracking something.
You don't have to worry about how. The fact is they can, and that alone should bother you.
But we were all unaware of this last generation. They never tried anything like this last generation with the original Switch. So
if they're doing it and you don't know about it, it's okay. As soon as it becomes,
I'm saying that it seems like they either didn't have the ability last generation or they have the ability now. Like, did they do something with an update where they were able to find out all the software you had in your console and then register everything you had, like in a database somewhere, and every cartridge you have now has an imprint on it? I keep calling them cartridges. They're really cards, but I call them cartridges.
Welcome, we are the Eggman says the Nintendo Switch is such a grab, no reason to get it. Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about here, to be honest with you. Really, no, that's... this is why, after spending hundreds of dollars on EA games and their Sims, game, I when I changed computers and tried to reboot my system and transfer things over to the new thing, and they told me that's already been registered, you can't use that game again. And I'm like, I changed computers, sorry, it's only registered on the other computer. I said, okay, fine, you will never get another dollar from me. And they literally have. EA Games has never gotten another dollar from me. Ever. I'm done.
This was. I remember I was fighting with Sony over the fact that I was supposed to get like a PS4 version of a pinball game with the other version. It's one of those things where you can buy multiple pinball tables, but for some reason it didn't register. We can do it for you this one time, and I'm like, dude, this is what I paid for. I think they were reasonable. I don't really have much of a problem with their customer service, but
well, reasonable in inverted commas here, because the fact that they can even do this is unreasonable. You're giving them credit for something that they don't deserve credit for. It's the bare minimum they should be doing under these circumstances. It never should have gotten to this.
Anyway, deleted scenes. If you're so inclined, you can get an Atari 7800 Plus, which is a high definition version of the Atari 7800 if you want to relive the old days.
True.
It was on sale on Nintendo Prime Deals for $60. I almost picked it up, and I'm like, I don't need another game console. But I'm like, I don't know. It's you can get Frenzy on it. You can't get Frenzy on it. They released it on there. Okay, but I know you're a big fan of Frenzy, right? And Berserk. Those are the two ones.
I don't remember which one Frenzy is, but Berserk.
Frenzy is like a follow-up. I don't think it's a strict sequel, but basically it's the same people that made Berserk and has similar style gameplay.
Then
one of them has robots, the other has zombies. I think I could be wrong.
Wow, interesting. Okay,
but it's like a similar thing. Moving on to Kotaku. Please let it just die. I just want it to die. Okay.
Well, apparently they're being sold, so
Digital publishing company Keliops has acquired. You know what's the funny thing is, the game journals, the corrupt game journals were the big complaint years ago in gaming, and now it's like now that's like past, and now it's the game companies themselves that seem to be the enemy of the gamer. Yeah. Digital publishing company Keliops has acquired Kotaku for an undisclosed all-cash asset deal. As reported by Axios, Kotaku's editorial staff remain at the site, and more senior staff will be hired. There you go, people. If you want to get hired, maybe not. Okay. Keliops CEO Jean Guillaume Kleiss told the publication has no immediate strategy surface, and he hasn't yet met with Kotaku's editor-in-chief. We are thrilled to welcome the entire Kotaku team to Keliops. Said Kleiss, Kotaku isn't just a brand, it's a home for gamers and a place where the culture keeps moving forward. We are honored to shape its future and make such an iconic gaming brand part of our family as part of our bold vision for, am I saying this right, Keliops?
I have no idea. I'll accept it.
Is this like a German company? What is it? Okay, he added, building on our success with Gizmodo thus far, we are committed to taking Kotaku to the next horizon, reinforcing its status as a must-read for gamers, anyone curious about gaming. Keliops purchased Gizmodo from Geo Media last year. Geo Media CEO Jim Spanfeller told Axios via email that he was very happy and we were able to find a great home for Kotaku and its entire staff. Yay. Kotaku was purchased by Univision Communications back in 2016 along with the acquisition of Gawker. Okay.
Considering all of those employees probably deserve to be fired, I'm so thankful to hear that you found positions for them. That's just wonderful.
When I supported Xbox, you had the gamer license and the console license. I'm thinking Sony and other companies have something similar or more advanced. Maybe they have their own way. But I don't know. You know what happened when the Xbox One was being touted to gamers? You needed an internet connection, and your disc had to be verified online in order for you to play it, and all this. And if you wanted to loan it to a friend, you couldn't really do it, or there was this comp where you had to give them an access code or something. And then the Sony CEO said, "How do you loan games to a friend on PlayStation 4?" Oh, and he says, "Here's my game," and he just hands over the disc. And Xbox got shamed big time for that, and they had to change their policy because they were wanting this encryption stuff on the Xbox One with internet only connections, and I think Jeff Keighley at the time asked Xbox, the guy prior to Phil Spencer, that he asked him, well, what if you don't have good internet or you don't have? Well, we have a console for people like that. It's called the Xbox 360, which is the prior console they had out. And he says, really? Is that it? And they said, well, yeah, there was a guy I knew on a submarine who had no access to internet. He might be better off with something like that. And I remember hearing one YouTuber got really furious when he heard that because he had already been in the armed forces, and of course, when you're in the armed forces, you want to play a game, you can always have access to the internet, and for him to say that so callously, anyway. But yeah. I'm going off on a tangent, aren't I? Let's move on.
That's okay.
Outside of Good Old Games, I don't know who else removes the DRM business. Good Old Games, by the way, has Willie Beamish, so from what I can tell. So there you go. Good Old Games also has the original Resident Evil trilogy, which I wish Capcom would remaster and put on modern consoles. So this is something I think more in your wheel book, but I'll talk about it. Subnautica 2 publisher Krafton confirms 2026 delay. He says change was not influenced by any contractual or financial considerations.
I call BS.
So I have an original story and an update. I'm going to read the original story, and then we can comment, and then I'll read the update, okay? Mm-hmm. Original story. Just weeks after gutting the leadership of Subnautica 2 studio Unknown Worlds, a Bloomberg report says Krafton is going to delay the game's early access release into 2026. The decision comes mere months before the PUBG publisher was slated to pay Unknown Worlds a $250 million bonus that developers say hinged on Subnautica 2's release this year. Krafton acquired Unknown Worlds in 2021, 3 years after the hit undersea survival game Subnautica left early access and went to full release. The purchase agreement, according to Bloomberg, included the $250 million bonus payable if the studio achieves specific revenue targets by the end of 2025. With Subnautica 2 delayed in 2026, those targets are unlikely to be met, and thus the bonus will not be payable. Unknown Worlds leadership had reportedly planned to split the bonus with all of the studio's roughly 100 employees. Payouts worth hundreds of thousands or even millions for some. Those leaders, Subnautica designer and director Charlie Cleveland, CEO Ted Gill, and studio co-founder Max McGuire, were unexpectedly shut door last week, however. Want me to read the updates next?
Yeah.
Okay, so shortly after the story went live, Krafton confirmed that Subnautica 2 has been delayed into 2026, saying that playtests provided some insight that there are few areas that we needed to improve before launching the first version of Subnautica to the world. Our community is at the heart of how we develop, and so we want to give ourselves a little extra time to respond to more of that feedback before releasing the game into early access. In a separate statement provided to PC Gamer, Krafton said the new release date was not prompted by contractual obligation to Subnautica 2 developer Unknown Worlds. This decision was based solely on our commitment to quality and to delivering the best possible experiences for players. A Krafton spokesperson said it was not influenced by any contractual or financial considerations. Additionally, the decision had already been under discussion prior to recent leadership changes at the studio. So you were calling BS on this.
Yeah, so this is almost certainly going to be a very interesting lawsuit. So here's the situation. You're told you have deadlines to meet in order to get certain bonuses. This is something I think everybody can relate to when you consider, your own job, whatever it is, right? And I think almost everybody has run into these kinds of shenanigans where it's like, I did everything I was supposed to do and you're telling me I'm not getting my bonus? Why am I not getting my bonus? Well, because blah, 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 which means we don't want to give it to you. We wanted you to do it and we didn't want to have to give you the bonus. So F you. And that's exactly what this is looking like. And this is millions and millions of dollars here.
So this was looking like, I mean, if I'm getting this right, they were supposed to get $250 million, and they were going to split it up between the staff,
right?
Which, in my opinion, is a great incentive for you to actually, really buckle down and make a great product, if you're actually going to get paid a good chunk of change for that, right?
Right. That's exactly right. And this is corporatism at its worst. And this is exactly how you lose your talent. The next game they go to put out, they won't have these people. These people will leave this company. And they will not have it. They will get lower tier people probably coming in with, DEI mentalities and nose rings and, colors of hair that don't exist in nature, right? And give yourself 10 years, your company won't exist anymore. Because you're also going to lose this kind of publicity. You're going to lose the people that be buying this. I told you in the backdrop, yes, I love Subnautica. I love that first game. I will not pay this company for this. We had already done, I think, I actually now I can't remember if we talked about this or if I saw it on another channel.
Right.
But we talked about Subnautica 2 and woke development and things that were, being stuffed into it that made me question whether I was interested in it anyway. This tells me I don't want anything to do with this company.
Subnautica. I have this game. I do have this game. I have it for PlayStation 4.
You have this game and you haven't played it?
No, I guess not. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, you gotta play it. You gotta play it.
Sony gave this away during their when everyone was stuck home during the disease of unknown origin. They were giving out free games, and they must have. And it wasn't all. They weren't all Sony-owned games. Like I got, there was a Pac-Man game Namco had that they gave for free, and I guess this is one of the games they gave for free. I will have to try it out. Okay, but you're not going to get the.
Yeah, give it a try. It's from what I've seen. I haven't actually played it myself, but I've watched a lot of playthroughs of it. I really love it. A lot of great lore there. And if you're not real quick to get to the end and, solve or win the game, it can become very much like Minecraft, where you're going out, getting materials to build stuff and whatnot. You could build yourself like this whole habitat underwater and all kinds of great upgrades. And it looks like a lot of fun just as a crafter game. But it's also a survival game. The whole premise is you crash land on this ocean planet. All you have is your survival shuttle, and your survival shuttle happens to have a replicator in it. But you also have to go out and find basic materials for the crafter to use, and then you 3D print or fabricate things that you need to make, your habitat and make it bigger and bigger and more luxurious and this kind of stuff. But at the same time, you also have to, it's all a water planet. So there is some stuff on land, but you got to do a lot of underwater stuff. So you got to make yourself a suit. You got to make yourself a submersible. You got to make yourself a bigger submersible. And you start encountering bigger and bigger creatures till you encounter the giant Leviathan, that you don't want to find. You want to avoid at all costs.
You also have to build yourself a house on platforms.
Yeah, on platforms, and then you can do stuff underwater, and then really cool game. I think they are going to destroy themselves though with the choices they're making on the second one.
It's very much like Minecraft, Troy says, as I'm literally playing Minecraft creating Roman Fort. Okay.
There you go. Although this is not, like that Lego style, low resi type of thing. This is like, good graphic, video game. It's same game concept, but a very different kind of feel. Very, very realistic graphics. And let me tell you something. When you're in these submersibles and you're going through the water and something big goes over or under or around you, oh crap, your heart starts beating.
No, only for that one gamer girl who shrieks at everything.
I would have too, though. If I was playing that game, I abso-friggin-lutely would have too.
Welcome, Robert's Infinite Realms.
Yeah.
I'll have to play this game. So good, because now I have a Minecraft-style game on the PlayStation that I didn't realize I had. I have actual Minecraft on my Xbox, and one of these days I'll have
you've got more games than you even realize.
I have. Let me explain to you. This is why this whole thing, like, if the video game industry crashes, I have enough games to last me for years to come. I'm like the squirrel that stored the nuts for the winter. I'll be good for a while, so I don't have to buy any new next gen consoles. Now, granted, there's still games coming out for next gen consoles I like to play, but I'm just waiting for now because I don't
You're
like
not
it.
exactly the kind of squirrel that likes to play with its nuts, is what you're saying.
Oh, funny man. Like the new Resident Evil trailer, I thought that looked pretty good. You know what the new Resident Evil trailer is? You're playing this young woman, and the head of the FBI calls you into his office and says, "I need you to go to this abandoned hotel, and I know your mother was murdered there, but you need to investigate this, and I think this will help you face." And like only in Japan, like they not understand that the head FBI is not going to have you investigate a case at a place where your mother was horribly murdered. He would find another agent to do that.
Jeez. No. I think this would be good for you to work through, your issues, and
Yeah, work through your issues. Yeah, this is just forget about it.
Oh God.
I haven't played probably since the early 2000s, somewhat in the sometime in the 2000s. Well, I'm sure you played The Sims because that was around, right? Yeah.
Right.
Now we're off of games. I don't mean this to turn into a game stream. In fact, I remember early on we did this show. We weren't even doing games, but I feel like there's no. Where's the action happening? And a lot of it's happening in the games industry at this point.
Well,
Because
there isn't
Hollywood
a lot going on in the movie industry. I've kind of monopolized the one movie people are talking about this week.
Superman.
So, yeah.
But we have some other articles. Any young Sheldon fans out there? This is Big Bang Theory spinoff Stewart fails to save the universe, order to series at HBO Max. The Big Bang Theory spinoff Stewart fails to save the universe has officially been greenlit at HBO Max, Variety has learned. The show was originally announced as being in development back in April 2023. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I moved something on my mic. I don't know if I signs was okay. As previously reported, the cast of the series is made up of Big Bang Theory alums Kevin Sussman, Lauren Lapkus, Brian Posehn, and John Ross Bowie. The series hails from Crow creators Chuck Lorre, Zach Penn, and Bill Prady. We're excited to continue the legacy of the Big Bang Theory. Much like the original series, this new chapter wouldn't be possible without the vision of storytelling brilliance of Chuck Lorre and Bill Prady, as well as Zach Penn, who has brought fresh insight and a distinctive voice to an already exceptional creative team, says Casey Boyes, chairman and CEO of HBO and HBO Max content. Take the meaning this would be like the Frasier to Big Bang Theory Cheers. Is that what this is sounding like?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah,
okay.
I can kind of see that. Sure.
HBO Max has also officially confirmed plot details of the show for the first time. Comic book store owner Stuart Bloom is tasked with restoring reality after he breaks the device built by Sheldon and Leonard, accidentally bringing about a multiverse Armageddon. Stuart is aided in this quest by his girlfriend Denise, geology friend Bert, and quantum physicist all-round pain in the ass Barry Kripke. The way they meet alternative versions of characters we've come to know and love from The Big Bang Theory, as the title implies, things don't go well. Oh, that's interesting. So you could have prior cast members show up on the show, but as alternative history versions of themselves.
Or you could have the same characters show up played by other people.
There you go. Yes.
Honestly, though, I think this is hitting at the wrong time. I'm hearing this, and I'm like, this was not a character I really enjoyed that much on the show to begin with. I was losing interest in the show by the end of it, and it was always grounded in a degree of realism. This sounds like either this character is in an insane asylum having a fugue state, dreaming this reality, or they've just ventured off into a pure sci-fi that has nothing to do with what the Big Bang Theory really originally was. But I think more importantly, I really believe that fans of this nerd culture type stuff are getting sick and tired of the multiverse bullcrap at this point.
I think fans of nerd culture are getting tired of the term nerd culture at this point, or geek culture, because even though I say that as someone who hosts a stream called Geeky Geezers, but
right.
Anyway, but I think Hollywood co-opting it, people are tired of it. It's like...
welcome, by the way, Albert Lanier, guest from Netters Network from last week. Yeah, I would say less Quantum Leap, maybe more Sliders.
Oh, sliders.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about sliders
Even more
someday.
sliders, yeah.
That
Yeah.
show kept losing cast members.
It was a problem, and not in and of itself a problem, but I think they were very inelegant in the way that they dealt with it. They could have done a better job of it.
Yes. So I wanted to do something radical that would take me out. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, wow, this article goes on for a while. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of CG lore reveal. There's a lot of special tactical stuff. You know, for
That's
me,
another problem. If they're going to have a high budget on this, it's going to make it a lot harder to be profitable. And what is this? Is this terrestrial or streaming?
they're saying HBO Max.
Yeah, forget it.
But it could also be HBO regular. See, this is what confuses me whenever they say HBO Max. Are you talking about just the streaming thing, HBO Max, or are you also talking about HBO? Will this just be on HBO, and then it will also stream on Max, which is probably what they should have done to begin with to stop confusion. Because I don't know if they're, well, of course, are there still people that subscribe to HBO through cable at this point?
Either way, it sounds like they're not going to be receiving commercial dollars. This isn't going to get the audience that it did when it was on network television. I don't foresee good things for this, to be honest with you. I hope it does well, because in the early days, I really did like The Big Bang Theory. It was funny. I have my doubts about this, though.
I like the actress who played, what was it? Was it Penny in Big Bang Theory? Kelly Kuko.
Yeah.
What?
Kelly
And-
Cuoco, yeah.
Okay,
She was in the last season of Charm, too, yeah.
oh, interesting. And she played on commercials. She played William Shatner's daughter on commercials.
That's
And
right.
even though-
That's right.
And even though I know in real life she's not William Shatner's daughter, I feel she should be William Shatner's daughter.
Well, in an alternate
it's-
universe,
It seems like she could be William Shatner's daughter.
that would actually be funny if one of
Yeah.
the storylines is they bring back Kelly Cuoco in an alternate universe and she's William Shatner's daughter in the alternate universe.
That'd be funny. It would have been funny if they didn't do this in The Big Bang Theory. If it turns out that she never knew who her real dad was, and it's William Shatner, and now she gets to hang out with William Shatner and Sheldon. All of them would be freaking out, right? But
Oh my gosh, that would have been yeah.
all right, moving on to Doctor Who is leaving streaming. What's next for the beloved British show? So this is
Yeah,
what's
let's keep
funny.
this one short.
The image kept blurring on me, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's some encryption on the site. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep the blurred image.
Yeah,
Well, this isn't even
because we don't know what the future holds for Doctor Who, right?
But this is not even the Disney Doctor Who that's been on the Disney Channel. This is the Okay, to further confuse you, New Who, the not classic Who, which is on BritBox, and you can also
Right.
catch it on Tubi. The New Who series, which goes from Eccleston to Whittaker. Even though I thought the Whittaker show was supposed to be a new Doctor Who series anyway, but that was on HBO Max, whereas now current Doctor Who, which is the one starting with the David Tennant specials, and
Yeah, and then leading into the Kuti Gatwa.
yeah. So that was on Disney. So this is about
Okay, and you know what? That actually tells me another very important piece of this puzzle.
yes,
Just like I've been talking about in relationship to Kurtzman Trek versus Classic Trek and all of this kind of stuff, and how there's a rights related separation.
yes.
You know, you could talk about whether or not you want to believe the 20% different, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. There is a separation because of rights related issues. And I've been saying it, and we're going to see it happen as we get into a later article, that when it really looks like the Skydance merger is going to happen, and that they are not going to be renewing with Kurtzman, that Kurtzman Trek and all the Trek that you didn't like under Kurtzman is going to go away. It's going to be mothballed. They cannot reference it because they don't have the rights to do that. I think the same thing has happened here with Doctor Who, that everything after Doctor Her is under a different license and not be something that the BBC has lock, stock, and barrel access to.
Well, the BBC might in Britain, just not elsewhere in the world.
That's a possibility too. It all depends on how these agreements are written and we don't know.
So basically, the Doctor's disappearing again for this time. I basically just told you what the article is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's leaving HBO Max. So it's funny because when we were prepping for our Doctor Who streams, the newer, I was rewatching and I found out, oh, they're on the HBO Max. My sister is currently subscribed to, so I just watched them through that, and that's how I got caught up. But it's weird how that's on HBO Max, but the Nakuti Gatwa is on Disney, and then Classic Who is on BritBox.
And that implies to me that there is a rights related issue there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all over the place. So this actually has nothing to do with the Nakuti Gatwa series, even though it's the picture in the image that you can't see because it's blurred. Did I make enough sense? Should we move on?
I think that's kind of funny. Yeah, that worked out perfectly.
The blurred image, I blame the Daleks. I don't know what was doing it, but I'm like, you know what? I kind of felt it looks like he's disappearing. That's why I put it in there. But that's not even about him. It's about the other doctors.
Yep.
Karate Kid Legends. There's some news on this. I felt like we had talked much about this movie all summer. I feel really awful. I meant to see it in theaters, and I just didn't get around to it. And then it was gone. I was going to see it last week, and then it's no longer in theaters because I waited too long. But Karate Kid Legends hits a crucial.
Well, actually, that's an issue too that I would say about all of this stuff. I didn't mention it in my Superman talk, but that's a problem too. You're always concerned about how well these movies do and whether or not they'll get greenlit for sequels and revenue and stuff like that. If you're only going to be in the theaters for 4 weeks before you pull it and put it on your streaming service, you're kind of screwing yourself and leaving money on the table.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it was in theaters, maybe more like 6 weeks, but yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Karate Kid Legends hits a crucial box office milestone in less than... Of course, it could just be my local theater chain booting it.
Could be.
Karate Kid Legends hits a crucial box office milestone in less than a month in theaters. The martial arts franchise has relaunched its first movie installment since the 2010 reboot that starred Jackie Chan as Mr. Hong. Following the 6th-season success of Cobra Kai on Netflix, Legends collides the worlds of Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han as they attempt to train the next Karate Kid, Li Fong. The sequel debuted with a modest $21 million domestic opening and has since been slowly climbing the franchise's box office charts. According to Deadline, Karate Kid Legends has already passed the $95 million global milestone in less than a month. The sequel is expected to conclude the week with a $98.3 million global total, which consists of $49.3 million domestically and $48.8 million internationally. The movie is currently sitting as the third highest grossing Karate Kid movie after overtaking the original 1984 installment earlier this week. The Karate Kid's Legends box office milestone is crucial since it could be nearing the break-even point. The sequel has a $45 million budget, and the standard break-even point estimate required for that movie makes at least 2.5 times the amount of its costs. While the exact amount is not official, Legends is expected to hit $100 million mark within next week. If so, that would make it the only Karate Kid movie to hit the milestone and inch it closer to a break-even point, which would be likely around 100 to 115 million. Additionally, the latest milestone means that Legends is now closing the gap on the Karate Kid, the Karate Part 2, on the franchise's charts, whereas the 2025 sequel was able to easily surpass the original 1984 movie. Taking over as the franchise's second highest grosser may be more challenging since Part 2 crossed just over 115 million. Did you know that Karate Kid Part 2 did better than Part 1 back in the day?
I did not.
That's interesting. Okay.
I think that the soundtrack had a lot to do with it.
It might have been home video rental too. Maybe people caught it on cable or on video rental before seeing the sequel.
That's true. There was a great synergy. You had a previous movie that did pretty well, that did better than in cable. You grew your audience. Yeah. And they would want to. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that are missing from the market now that is part of why the entertainment industry is faltering now.
It's worth mentioning that the box office plays a great deal in determining the fate of a franchise. Legends marks the franchise's first movie installment in 15 years, and the first major test outside the Cobra Kai series. Despite a decent box office run so far, there is currently no word on whether Sony is considering another Karate Kid movie. On the other hand, the franchise's future overall is also uncertain following Cobra Kai. While the creative team and Machio have discussed potential spin-offs, Netflix has not confirmed any developments at this time. While it's too soon to determine if Legends can hit the break-even point, it's certainly in a better spot than many summer movies that have been released in 2025 so far. The big reason for this is the smaller box office, which makes it more doable because to become a box office success. In contrast, films like Thunderbolts and Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning have not experienced similar fortunes despite coming from much bigger franchises. That's interesting. Are they saying it has legs then? Is that what they're saying? I mean, I guess it didn't cost as much to make as some of
Well,
those
the fact
other
that it's
movies.
still holding on is saying something, really.
Okay. Well, they should release it back in my local theaters and I can go see it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but anyway, it looked good, and I know you're still waiting to catch up on Cobra Kai. I really want to talk to you about it one of these
I
weeks
know.
because
I'm behind. I'm really behind.
it gets intense, man. That's all I got to say. You think usually by the final season it's run out of ideas or steam. Nope, that didn't happen with Cobra Kai. They still managed to surprise you.
That's a good sign, yeah.
Let me see. The BBC would retain. This is probably a lot of good stuff. The shortest movie made in the theater, live action Gem and the Holograms, was so badly panned by fans. 2 days in theaters and then gone. I forgot they did a live action Gem and the Holograms. Did you know they did that?
Yes, I did.
Did you see it?
I did not.
Karate Kid was an unexpected hit in '84. Karate Kid had a good opening and some legs. Okay. It means it has legs rather than arms. All right. David Lynch in the news. And I feel like Lynch keeps cropping up in the news every week now. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a push just to kind of keep his well, because this one is what the release of his last movie, and it's being released posthumously. So,
Legend of the Happy Worker, the last film to feature participation from David Lynch, has announced its premiere at the 2025 Locarno Film Festival. Known for visionary classics such as the TV show Twin Peaks, as well as films such as Dune and The Elephant Man, Lynch passed at his daughter's home in Los Angeles in January after being evacuated during the city's wildfires. He was 78. Oh, wow. Do you think that had something to do with it?
It may have, but honestly, it may have just progressed it's
faster than it would have been. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you got to understand. He was suffering with COPD.
Right.
He was not going to be recovering from that. Guys, don't smoke.
Yeah. While he hadn't directed anything since 2017 series Twin Peaks: The Return, the filmmaker appeared in projects such as Steven Spielberg's 2022 drama The Fabelmans, and is credited as executive producer of The Legend of the Happy Worker, a drama directed by Dwayne Dunham, who served as editor on Twin Peaks, starring Thomas Hayden Church of Spider-Man 3, Coleman Meaney, Gangs of London. The official synopsis says the film follows Joe, played by Josh Whitehouse, who battles to save what he and others have spent years building. An article from the Hollywood Reporter states film will premiere out of a competition in Locarno, with the Swiss-based festival running from August 6th to the 16th. The date for the film's premiere is not yet announced. Recently, there has been much discussion around Unrecorded Night, the Netflix series that David Lynch was working on prior to his death. The show got as far as location scouting, according to the filmmaker's regular cinematographer, but was halted due to the pandemic. Longtime Lynch producer Sabrina Sutherland called the script the best thing he ever did. Last month, Peter Deming, who worked with him on many projects, revealed that it may be released to the public as a book. I think it was discussed, and that began when David started having health problems, and whether he'd be able to make it, he explained. Elsewhere, tributes were paid to singer-songwriter Rebecca Del Rio, who died June 23rd, age 57. We talked about that. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Do you think this is going to be like a lynching style movie, or is it just going to be its own thing? You think? Because
I haven't heard enough about it, so I can't really speculate.
I'm curious about that show he wanted to make for Netflix. That probably would have been something interesting, but
exactly.
Yeah, Geek Flag says his dad passed away younger than I am, and he smoked at least 3 packs a day. He would have lit a cigarette in his mouth when he woke up before his fit hit the ground. Don't smoke. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That's awful. I think Lynch has emphysema, had to stop directing films. Yeah, that's what we learned.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, though, and we're still. You can catch us discussing all things Lynch related on Sparkwood and 21. At the
Yep.
Deleted Scenes hosted show. You can catch it on various channels also. And this week we're doing Inland Empire, as I recall, right?
Yes. First half of the movie we'll be watching on Tuesday. Yeah.
Cosmo Jarvis pulls out of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, Shogun star replaced by Logan Marshall Green. From this is from Marc Malnekoff. Thank you. Shogun and Warfare star Cosmo Jarvis won't be part of the all-star cast of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey in the end. As reported, Jarvis had been due to join the likes of Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, Robert Pattinson, and Anne Hathaway in the anticipated film. Turns out a scheduling conflict meant he had to drop out of the store out shortly before filming. Jarvis is gearing up to star in the feature biopic Young Stalin about the Russian dictator. That'll be interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Please tell me Joaquin Phoenix isn't playing Young Stalin. And Ridley Scott's directing it.
Oh God. How do you know? Were you there?
Just we understand that Jarvis' role in the Nolan universe epic was filled by Prometheus and defeated star Logan Marshall Green. The role remains under wraps. The film, currently set to release in IMAX on July 17, 2026, is filming at locations in Morocco, Italy, Ireland, Scotland, based on the epic poem. The story follows Odysseus, played by Matt Damon, king of Ithaca, on his dangerous journey home after the Trojan War. During his voyage, the protagonist faces Polyphemus, the Cyclops, Sirens, the Calypso, and the witch goddess Circe in the treacherous oceans that separate him from his island home and his wife Penelope, who unravels a wedding train that she weaves every night in the event that one of the suitors who have taken over her home ends up marrying her should her husband not return. His memory is also guarded by his son Machus. I know, I should have read The Odyssey. Played in the movie by Holland. The story also features gods including Athena, Poseidon, and Zeus. Will Zeus be played by Liam Neeson?
No, probably Pedro. No.
I'm kidding because you have that clip on the. Okay. A teaser trailer currently playing in theaters recently leaked on TikTok and X. Universal released a first look image below. Yeah, you can see the costuming. This might be a great epic film. We'll see. I mean, it's a famous story, right? The Odysseus does not look, at least in the prop department, it looks like bland color, generic Hollywood version of Greek armor instead of either eras they could use. Well, you know who's probably going to be on this movie is going to be what, the Metatron? Is that what
the Metatron? Absolutely.
Yes. He will be looking. I mean, he does a lot of Roman stuff, but I'm sure he has some expertise on the Greek
Oh,
stuff
sure.
Yeah.
And
he'll be examining costuming for accuracy. Like, I don't know if the colors were brighter, because I think part of the problem, we look at past peoples and see, oh, they wore these darks, these like dark colors, right, or more subdued colors, and it turns out no, they were actually bright. They just faded over time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was a complaint about the Sistine Chapel, because they thought Leonardo da Vinci was this brilliant, like, artist. Were looking at his paintings and saying, look at all the subtle colors he used and everything, and then they did a restoration. No, it's all bright colors. And they were like, no. And like all the art community was taken aback. They were upset, because they thought he used a different color palette than he did. Normally, I'm not a fan of Homer's work being adapted, but if Christopher Nolan is doing it, might be worth a look. Did you see the movie Troy when it came out?
I did see Troy. I think I actually did a watch party of it here on my channel.
Troy is his own movie.
Yeah, right. I have my own movie.
There you go. Yes. Okay. You ever see the 80s cartoon Ulysses 31? It was a classic tale, but set in the future. Out space. It was pretty freaking cool. If you're interested in that, there is an anime series called Reign the Conqueror, also known as Alexander in Japan, which was a retelling of the story of Alexander the Great. And they went to Peter Chung, the guy behind Aeon Flux.
Uh-huh.
and that cartoon series, and they said, "Look, we want you to do the the character designs, even though because he did stuff for MTV, they wanted him to do the character designs for this Japanese animated series." So Peter Chung, he starts researching Greek architecture, Greek clothing, all this stuff to get up. And then he goes to the Japanese producers, and they're like, "What are you doing? We want you to make it look like Aeon Flux, like that weird dystopian future look for the show." Because
Gosh.
it wasn't a science. How can I put this? Other than the weird costuming and the way things looked, it didn't have they weren't like using laser beams or things on it. They were still very much
Sure.
dealing with Greek mindset. Like it's almost like science fiction without science because it was all mathematics, right? So that's what they were
Interesting.
dealing with. It was an interesting series, but you might get a kick out of that if you liked that other show. But this is a big reason why I'd rather not see adaptations of such works. Well, it's Nolan. Nolan has a pretty good track record, though I'm not as big a fan as Oppenheimer as other people are. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. You looking forward to this, or are you undecided?
I'm a very undecided. I've gotten very jaded about historical pieces. I'll wait until I hear some more about it.
Is Zendaya playing Penelope?
Probably.
This was interesting. This had come out. Apparently, David Zaslav pushed back on the uh, Ta-Nehisi Black Superman movie for being too woke. On the eve of James Gunn's highly anticipated Superman film, the Wall Street Journal released a quantitative report that essentially signaled the film as Warner Brothers' last chance to make its comic book brand soar. No pressure, however, with the lengthy half pop culture, half financial report was a revelation that Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav turned down a script for a Black Superman movie in 2022 because he felt it was too woke. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Black Superman script, which was penned by Ta-Nehisi Coates and had producer J.J. Abrams attached to it as far back as 2021, would have seen the Man of Steel in a tale set in the civil rights era, but the tale, which injected an air of excitement among fans online at the time in the wake of Zack Snyder's Justice League, ultimately did not move forward. As the Wall Street Journal notes, this period in DC saw Warner Brothers essentially be on the verge of its wits' end for how to reboot the cinematic universe. Key focal points for the company were anchoring its cinematic universe in a film that wasn't as grim and gritty as its previous attempts, which were narratively incongruous and failed to captivate audiences at the box office beyond opening weekend. Aquaman did very well. I don't, and so did Wonder Woman. So and I don't know if you like those movies or didn't, but I do know those movies did well. But around
I
the same,
well, I've spoken about it before. There
yes.
were things that I liked about the Aquaman movie. It may have been the best of the Snyderverse. The Wonder Woman movie, I deciding to set it in World War I was a non-starter for me. So
They were trying to separate themselves from Captain
that
America.
was their
That's
own fault. They
yes,
should
okay,
have made
yes.
that movie 10 years earlier. It's their own fault for not doing so.
All right. But I remember reading about this, and I wonder what had happened to it. I remember hearing J.J. Abrams' name attached, and that did not sound good to me. But I have a suspicion this probably went out around the same time that the Batgirl movie did not get
Well, I'm going to
tax
say
write-off.
something else here. Why is this article coming out now? I'm wondering if they're hearing the positive talk about Mr. Terrific. And maybe they're pivoting to say maybe Mr. Terrific gets his own movie later on down the line.
Okay. Perhaps that's where they introduced him in
As I was putting together my liquid lunch for tomorrow, I realized because I found myself saying it, and then I thought about it, and I made a connection to this article. I said, in a lot of ways, Mr. Terrific is the Black Superman. And then I was like, holy cow. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to
Okay.
do a Black Superman, just do a movie about Mr. Terrific.
Well, it's funny when we were doing that. If we were to the DC universe on Mr. Massick's channel, I had come up.
Yeah.
I was gonna have different heroes showing up in the first Superman. I was gonna have Black Dynamite showing up. That was gonna be my pick, but
There
Okay.
you go.
They went their own thing. And I wanted to have a Wonder Woman movie set during World War II, which you said, nah, it's too late to do that now. I remember I got poo-pooed on that idea.
I said, if they're going to do a Mr. Terrific movie, like just a standalone, they got to cut down his attitude because
Yeah,
that was such a
well,
turnoff.
I'll get into it in Liquid Lunch tomorrow, but they gotta tone down the swearing. They really do.
Well, not only that, his attitude sucked. He was acting like he was the end all and be all of
He
everything.
really didn't like that dog.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
But even the way he talked to other people, it was just like, I'm more important than you attitude. It's like, no,
that
you're
one
really
line
not.
really kind of hurts it for him. Well, tune into Liquid Lunch tomorrow. You hear all my.
I just finished watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers a few hours ago because this year that movie turns 30 years old. I remember watching this movie when it came out in
Wow.
1995. You know what's interesting, The Horror King? Apparently they're doing a limited release of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie back from 1990.
Wow.
That's coming out to theaters too. And that was he was more RDJ in Tropic Thunder. Oh well, I don't know if that's an endorsement. Anyway, okay, but basically we're finding out what happened to that project now, so that's why I threw it in there.
Yeah.
And then we will
Good.
wrap up tonight with some box office news.
Yep.
So this was kind of interesting. I said we're not. This is this. There's certain movies that come out where I'm wondering how they're going to do. I remember Dial of Destiny. I was obsessed with that getting released and seeing how that was going to do. And this was another one because this one's been planned for a while. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a box office hit. Superman opening to 123 million. This is an
It's
update
funny that
early.
they say that because not all outlets are saying that. I'm going to cover this a little bit more tomorrow, but WDW Pro has a little bit different take on it.
This is the problem. This is why I get like I'm wondering what counts as a hit now. Like
It is, yeah.
I mean, is this really the audience's fault because this sounds like good box office to me, or are they just spending too much on movies lately? But I would assume that they had a budget in mind when they made this thing because I don't know. Let's see. Warner's is reporting Superman this morning at 122 million opening, but this Man of Steel is the higher per rivals in the 124 million to 125 million range. Splitting the difference is 123 million. Okay. Saturday per Warner Brothers, and as we told, was 37.7 million, 33% for the James Gunn directed movie. Warner's believes Sunday is the is down 25% from Saturday with 28.2 million. Okay. Warner Brothers X has every reason to be doing the crypto doggy dance this morning, as it's the studio's second 100 million plus opening weekend this year after a Minecraft movie that was 162 million. Minecraft did well. I was completely wrong on that. I was expecting that to bomb. Shows what I know. I thought are the kids still into Minecraft? Isn't that like a big thing 10 years ago? And I'm like, no, they are still into Minecraft. That did very well. Technically, Warner's owns the number 1 and number 3 biggest openings of the year currently. Warner's owns 6 number 1 openings year to date. It's also DC Studios co-head Peter Safran's biggest opening ever at the box office, ahead of Aquaman's 67.8 million, second best opening for a Superman movie overall, behind Batman versus Superman, 166 million. Wow. That did that well, huh?
Yeah.
The best opening for a Superman first franchise installment, ahead of Man of Steel, 116.6 million reported 3-day, and the second best opening, as we said all along, for Gunn, behind Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 146.5 million. Talk about pressure. DC Studios and their new chapter bet on their co-studio boss Gunn to tee them off. What if Superman didn't work? Then the whole house of cards falls down, right? But there's another way of thinking. Let's talk about the risk involved had DC Studios not tapped Gunn to direct Superman. He's arguably one of the best superhero filmmakers out there right now, and a visionary who can steer between art and commerce. Wait, we're Weren't some expecting Superman to go hog wild after $22 million previews with 140 million to 150 million opening? Is MAGA to blame? Is Gunn's immigrant comments to blame? It's my understanding not at all, because the red county zones for this type of movie aren't underperforming. More on that soon. Rather, they're churning out the average amount of cash for a PG-13 family adventure movie. At 120 million plus, this is the ceiling for a standalone Superman movie when he's not fighting Batman in the desolate remains of Gotham. So they're saying this is doing well for a Superman movie that's headlined mainly by Superman, and they're saying that no, these comments, this media controversy, sort of in the media, didn't really have an effect, or at least not in the way they were wanting to. Superman's legs aren't. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that's fine.
Superman's legs aren't that different Man of Steel's, but that's only for each movie's first 3 days. Thursday through Saturday, read Zack Snyder movie between 12 million previews, and Friday did 56 million. Okay, so I don't know. Oh, this is interesting. So, they have diversity demos. You want me to read those?
Yeah, go ahead.
26 Latino and Hispanic, 19% Black, 9% Asian America, and 41% Caucasian. Demo-wise, it looks like a fanboy film with exits similar to Deadpool and Wolverine, even though that's an R-rated title. Male-female is 68% to 32%, and Deadpool Wolverine was 63% to 37%. Okay, so
yeah, no, I don't really feel like this means a lot out of context. I think you'd have to compare it to a lot more films for that to matter. But I'm also going to say that for as divided as the reviews have been for this film, the divide of the analysis of these numbers is equally confusing. I'll get into it more during my liquid lunch tomorrow, but yeah, I think that what it needs to make, and again, they're also looking at pure numbers, pure budget. There's a lot more riding on this than just dollars and cents. It's a whole future franchise that's riding on this, and I'm going to get into why I think there are some missteps in that kind of planning.
Lanterns, I don't know about lanterns. And there's the whole Batman problem too they have.
Yes, they do. They really, really do.
I think they're going to have to go with a Batman where they can't have any traditional Batman villains because they're all tied up in the Pattinson Batman franchise,
which is freaking ridiculous. Again, they're doing the peas and carrots thing. They need to take ownership of their own franchise and say, this is what we're doing with it. If you don't want to do this, you're out. Goodbye.
Who's as big as the Joker for Batman? I guess there's Ra's al Ghul, but Nolan used them already. I don't know if they want to go down that road again. There's Bane. I think
you need to have access to all of them, and you need to be able to budget them and use them appropriately. You need to, this movie is this villain, which leads into this villain, which leads into this villain, which leads into this overarching story with these other characters, and then comes back to... You've got to have that kind of ability to create and craft a symphony of story, or damn it, don't do it.
Do you think it's going to be Deathstroke? Which is odd because I don't consider him a Batman villain, but I know he was the one that was going to be used for the Ben Affleck Batman movie, which didn't get made, the Pattinson Batman movie instead.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
I'm just so frustrated with all of this. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot when they really don't have to.
Okay, so here's something I noticed when I left the movie today. Started talking with some people, and the general consensus was it wasn't a bad movie, but they wouldn't watch it again. That's not good. Well, so it's basically the new Jurassic World movie. I'm sorry, I haven't seen the new Jurassic. I'll probably be seeing that. I think someone in my family wants to see that, so I'm going to say, what do you mean, Boomer? Deathstroke is a Batman villain. I always saw him as a Titans villain.
Yeah. He's
maybe he didn't start out as a Titans villain. Maybe he did start out as a Batman villain.
No. He's a Titans villain, vicariously taken on by Batman.
Okay.
And,
Maybe he
and
knew Robin
especially in a
Batman.
world where you don't have a Robin with your Batman, there is no connection between the two, or there shouldn't be.
I don't know. I remember Teen Titans, which I even though it was a bit funnier than the usual DC animated show, it would have its serious moments, and they didn't call him Deathstroke on Teen Titans. They just called him Slade, like Slade Wilson, right?
Right.
And Slade's the big villain, and Robin keeps trying to figure out what is Slade up to. He's obsessed with Slade all throughout the season. And then by the end of the season, you figure out what Slade's big plan is. He's not trying to destroy the city or anything like. He wants Robin to be his apprentice. And if Robin doesn't decide to become his apprentice, he'll destroy his team, his friends. So Robin's stuck.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yes.
one of the big things that's missing is nobody wants to use Jericho, apparently, who is Slade Wilson's, father. Which is the whole connection to the Titans. So it's, I don't know. Again, they don't know how to shepherd their own products.
They're doing Clayface movie.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, which I guess won't have Batman in it, or maybe he'll show up. And they don't have a Batman cast.
They're probably taking their cues from Sony. They're going to start doing villain movies that don't have the hero in it. Because that's worked so well for Sony.
I'm guessing you didn't like our Arkham Origin having Deathstroke fight Batman for Robin was yeah, in the game it was. They what happened in Arkham Origins, this is what it was. I think the plot line is Black Mask is fed up with Batman and wants and hires a bunch of assassins to kill Batman. One of them is Deathstroke. Another one is Deadshot. I think Joker gets hired, and the snake guy, the Copperhead. You know what I think is interesting? Black Mask. Maybe they could do him as the Batman villain.
Okay.
Do you like him?
I don't even remember who Black Mask is, to be honest with you.
He has like black tar stuck on his face, I guess, through an accident. He's like a mob boss. I don't know. I thought it'd be an interesting Batman villain. If you don't want to make a Batman movie that doesn't use the Joker, I was just using some of the following Clayface. Well, they're doing a Clayface movie.
Yeah, they are.
Mr. Freeze, I could see, and Black Mask. Yeah, the horror king. My money's on Black Mask. Maybe they could do something with Black Mask and make it interesting. I just feel though, why couldn't they just use the Joker? Just start out with the Joker. He's the heavy. They're having Lex Luthor in the Superman movie. Have Joker in the, but we don't know if they're saving the Joker for Batman patents. And will Batman 2 Pattinson actually get made? They say the script is done. They had like a blurry screenshot of the script. Does that fill you with confidence?
Not really.
Okay.
No, I think this whole Pattinson Batman is a wrench in the works, to be honest with you.
And it's a pity because I will say this, whatever I think about it, the Penguin actor, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, it's a brilliant performance. And it's like comparing, it's like the Heath Ledger performance for the Joker. That's what his performance is like for this Penguin. And he doesn't look anything like himself too in this part.
Right.
But Black Mask was in Birds of Prey movie and it tanked. Well, I heard they messed it up. In fact, you know who I wanted as Black Mask in a movie version if they were to do it? I want Nick Cage as Black Mask.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'll take a Nick Cage version of any character.
Okay.
To be honest with you,
it would be bad business decision when they're trying to starve DCU to go forward with Rotten Pattinson. They're doing it though. I think they're under contract. I think they have to. It's like how how Amazon was able to do that new animated Batman series because I think J.J. Abrams must have had the rights to shop it around if Warner's passed on it, and Amazon picked it up. Which is another problem. Remember we were making the comment how many different Batmans are circling around right now?
Exactly.
Because the animated one, I thought that would be related to the Pattinson Batman movie, but it's not. It's its own thing. So, I mean...
Right.
And I know they're trying to do the thing where everything is streamlined, which I don't necessarily agree with either, where the animated series are supposed to be in the same continuity now as the live-action series they're doing
Right.
with DC, like that, like Peacemaker and that Monster series and everything else. But okay, well, time will tell.
I have been saying for a long time that they do need to start combining their canons, so to speak, and start making things link up.
Well,
If
that's
they're
what I
gonna
think they're
bother with
doing.
these
Yeah,
characters, but they still have it so divided. It's kind of freaking ridiculous.
I could tell you with the Batman cartoon, I think they didn't expect it to get shopped around. I think they thought we passed on it, and J.J. Abrams is going to move on. Instead, I think I'm just speaking theoretically. I have no idea what happened. I'm just saying I found it odd how it shows up on Amazon, and my theory was he must have had the rights and a contract to shop it around, because that's the
Right.
only thing that made sense. Why is it showing up on Amazon, a rival
Right.
thing?
So thank you
Salute.
so much, CluuStudio. $5. Thank you. Saying salute to all three of us. Thank you.
The Batman Cape Crusader cartoon was terrible. Well, that's your opinion, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. I want Troy to someday watch it and we can discuss it on a Friday stream. But he has yet to take the plunge.
Shocking.
You get Amazon
Shocking.
Prime, you have access to it.
I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that they didn't make a ton of raw decisions on there to the point where I'm wondering if Batman himself on the show is just another villain. No, seriously, I'm wondering, is this a guy really wanting to clean up Gotham, or is this a guy obsessed with playing the part of a vigilante hero and doesn't really want Gotham to get cleaned up?
I mean,
That's the impression I'm getting from this show, because he really screwed up with Harvey Dent on that first season. I'm not going to get into it here. I'm just previous iterations. He was Bruce Wayne's best friend. To see how he was treated on this show, I'm just anyway. But anyway, that's it. We'll keep you. We'll have an update on this next week, because let's see if Superman has legs.
Yep.
He has a cape.
Yeah.
That's not really an appendage. Anyway, that's it for Geeky Geezers this week. And
so
like I
tomorrow,
yeah, go ahead. Okay.
As I've mentioned a couple times, related directly to this last article, I will be discussing. Well, I've pre-recorded my Liquid Lunch for tomorrow. I will be releasing it as a live premiere so that you guys in the Martini Gallery can still get together for lunch and socialize and watch the Liquid Lunch. Leave me a comment so that I know you were there, especially if there's something you want me to respond to. Disagreement you have with me, I'm sure there will be some, because I have some very strong opinions. Yes, despite the fact that I released a video last week saying why I will not be watching Superman 2025, I was challenged to watch it and decided to do so, and I explain exactly why I decided to do that in my Liquid Lunch. So I give my candid thoughts after having seen it. Kind of a spoiler, not a lot changed, but a little bit changed, so it might be worth hearing what I did think about it.
All
so
right.
So check out my Liquid Lunch, regular time tomorrow, noon Central, 1 Eastern. And actually, I think I'm bearing the lead. Don't leave here. Stay where you're at, because after we release you, we'll kick you over to Deleted Scenes channel. Maybe a little early. You might have to wait around. Leave the tab open. And we're going to raid his channel for his reserved seats. He is Connie Cleary will be his guest. Fluff Chick Productions. Find out about her channel and what she's got planned over there on Deleted Scenes. So, like I said, stay right where you're at. And so Monday, Liquid Lunch without me, not live.
He'll be there. He'll be there. Just pay attention. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Tuesday, we already mentioned, live from Sparkwood 21, 7:30. Inland Empire, the first half of Inland Empire. Followed by the next episode of Blake 7, The episode is called Moloch. Let's see. Thursday, Netter's Network, as per usual. Netter, you're still working on a guest for Thursday, right?
Yeah. If
Poor
not,
communication. Guys, if you're trying to build your channel and someone asks you for a collab, it's professional to have good communication with them.
Check your DM.
Check all of your socials and all the ways that you get, and stay up to date with your communication. Okay, that's just professional and good courtesy. Just saying. So one way or another, we'll be talking something on Thursday. Netter's Network, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, over on the Netters channel. And Friday, we are going to be having a karaoke party, co-hosted by Deleted Scenes, because I may need some technical assistance with how I do this. We will be starting out over here on my channel for Last Call. As per usual, say hi, greetings, pass around the drinks, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to head over to the Green Machine, where we don't have to worry about the crap that we get from YouTube over here. And we'll sing. And we will drink, and we will have fun. So that will be this Friday on Last Call.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Saturday, I'm forgetting what letter we're on, so I don't remember what your movie is, Netter.
Box of chocolates. Like,
yeah, Forrest Gump. Yeah, Forrest Gump.
I remember that movie.
Yeah. A lot of great cultural touchstones there.
Gary Sinise, I remember that. He's in that.
Gary Sinise is a national treasure.
Yes.
I'd say definitely more than Tom Hanks, who fled the country. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe now that a certain list isn't coming out, maybe he'll think about coming back. In fact, there's probably a lot of celebrities who might be coming back now that a certain list suddenly doesn't exist, even though it was on Pam Bondi's desk and she was going to look at it. And don't even get me started.
A topic for another time. Or
that brings us back around to Geeky Geezers next week.
We'll have another Lynch-related story next Sunday, because I saw it today, but it was too late to enter it into the notes. But we'll have it next Sunday.
Fair enough.
All right, and we'll give you a Superman update, and we'll see if there's anything else. Hopefully, some good gaming news, and I'll definitely go try to find if Lee Beamish is on that Xbox. All right,
there you go.
Y'all have a good week. If that's it, we'll just close out. Bye-bye.
Yep. Take care, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.